crafters, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you that it's your first time visiting me, thanks so much for joining me and watching. I always enjoy your feedback and comments down below if you have anything that you'd like to ask about or questions. Welcome to it. Thank you so much. You're watching me at Margaret Knob Designs YouTube channel. So what I have for you this evening is some card boxes, and I came the other day showing you this card box that was for A2 size cards, and in this you know, I can put probably six to eight cards with envelopes. I put 6 in here and use the exclusive Country Bunny collection from Country Craft Creations. Well, this is a part of a design team project for Country Craft Creations. I also am going to be doing another project right after this one using this collection, and then I keep talking about using the Mother's Day collection, and I will. I just have been going back and forth with my ideas on it so much that I decided to move ahead with something that I had certainty on. So what I wanted to show you this evening is showing you how to make these card boxes for other size cards. So this box size is 3.5 by 6.5, and that'll fit a mini slimline card because I normally make my slimline cards at 3 by 6, and I do that partly because I can cut 6 by 6 paper out of, if I'm going to use a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock for my card, and then also for cutting down the size of the paper. It just really helps to save a little bit of the cardstock and the designer paper. So in this box, I started making a couple mini slimlines. So these were 2 that I just made yesterday, and I don't have anything else in them. I just used the Retro Men paper collection, and these were from some of the offcuts of these boxes, and then some die cuts and some other little items out of my stash. So this is for the mini slimline, and to keep it looking a little bit more masculine, I use some not ribbon, but it's more like twine. And then on this card box, this is for slimline cards, and the normal card size that I make is 3.5 by 8.5. So this box is 4 by 9. So there's plenty of room for the envelopes to go in the box along with the cards. And I didn't make any cards for this, but you can see that I've covered the inside of here, but I didn't cover this inside of the box. I figured it's sturdy enough for a card box. On the front of here, I do have 2 magnets in here. Gosh, I can't even feel them. I do have 2 magnets, and I have 2 magnets down here as well. And that's how the box closes. I decided to do the magnets because of the paper was a little bit darker or brighter colored, and then I thought the Velcro dots were going to show a little bit more. But as you can see in the front of here, I took and fussy cut some of the tags out of the collection, and then again added just the twine with one of the buttons from Country Craft Creations as well. And on this one, I took one of the tags that I cut out, fussy cut it out, and I backed both of them with some of the artisan cardstock in the army green. I thought that worked pretty well for both of these boxes. So what I'd like to do is just show you how to put the boxes together. It's exactly the same for all the different card sizes. It's just different measurements for the slimline, which is 9 by 4 or 4 by 9, and the mini slimline, which is the box is 3.5 by 6.5, and then you have your A2 card box size. Of course, I forgot. I think it's 5 by 6, or no, it's this is 6 by 4.5. Yeah, 4.5, or might even be 4 5/8. But what I'm going to do is in the description of this video, I will put the measurements for all the 3 different size boxes so that you can write those down and you can use those measurements to make the boxes for gifts. The other thing I wanted to say is that I know men aren't typically card givers or card senders. But remember, these are nice gifts for if you make it in a masculine effect. So you have cards for those men in your life or brothers or father-in-laws or whatever, so that you have something. But the other thing is that I think it'd be a cute idea to give for your husband, for Father's Day, or significant other for Father's Day, and put the cards in here that that he always forgets to get. So make a Valentine's card for him and put it in here. Make him a birthday card for you to put it in here. Make a Mother's Day card for in here. And just the other holidays, maybe a thank you card or different things like that. But it might be a kind of a funny gift to give for a Father's Day present where you have everything all set for him and all he's got to do is remember where he put the box. So, all right, ladies. Well, let's just get to crafting. And I say ladies, sorry. If there are gentlemen in the group, I'm sorry about that. But I think that almost every one of my viewers is really a woman. So that's why I say ladies. So. Not being sexist, I enjoy men crafters as well. So let's get to making this box before I get myself in deep water. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your cardstock and you are going to cut one piece at 6.5 by 10 inches. And then you are going to score this. The first score line is going to be at 3.5, then at 5.5, and then at 9. And then what we're going to do is fold these score lines to get ready for making our box. So I'm going to just put that off to the side. And then the other pieces that we're going to need to make are the side panels. So you're going to need to cut 2 pieces that are 4 by 3. And what that is because this is 4 inches, so we have scored it at 1/2 inch on the bottom, and then you're going to score on the side at 1/2 inch because this piece in here is 2 inches. So 2 pieces of 4 by 3. And if you're very careful about how you're cutting these, for sure with an A2 box and the mini Slimline, you can get the box out of one piece of cardstock, and you can actually get the papers to cover the mini Slimline box from one 12 by 12 sheet. Now the regular Slimline box, you'll have to use one piece plus a cut off of another piece or 2. So let's do the scoring on both of these. So again, on that 4 by 3 piece, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And I've got 2 of those. Those are going to go there. And then our last piece of cardstock that we're cutting is 4 inches by 6.5. So the width of the box, and it's 4 inches. And then we're going to score at 2 inches. So this is going to be making the flap and the top of our box, if you can see that. So then what I do normally is I right away go ahead and punch around the corners, because I like the corners on the flap of the box to be rounded. So I will show you as we're putting this together. I'm going to show you how I decorate and how I put everything together. The only thing I'm not going to do is embellish the box, because it can be done with so many things, with cogs or buttons, the twine I used, and even if you have a darker scale ribbon would look really good with this. So what I'm going to do is to start off by taking this main piece, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this 4 by 6.5 piece, and we are going to glue it, oops, wrong way. We're going to glue it onto this so that the seam of it is on the inside of the box, and we are going to put this up to, this is 1 inch here. And so you can make this 1 inch, or you can make it a 1/2 inch, whatever you want to do. I just keep it at 1 inch because it's just easier for me to have a little bit bigger piece to glue onto. So, and you can use score tape or you can use glue. I just use glue because it's easier, and you know I like glue. So then I'm going to match this up on either side, and I'm going to make this about 1/16 of an inch away from our score line, and then burnish that down so we have a good bend on there. Then I have this piece like this, and we're going to take and do some mitering of the corners, and I take a slight angle here, and I go in and do a slight angle this way, go in like that, and then turn this a bit and do a slight miter there. And then I will go ahead and do a miter on the edge of here. And I always like to go from where my scissors hits here. And this was something I learned from Tamara, and it had something, Tamara from Country Craft Creations, she's the owner. And this is something that she talked about, is then you won't cut in on your pieces of paper or cardstock too deeply. You know, if I cut from this way forward, I could angle in here inadvertently by mistake, but by keeping my scissors up against this cardstock when I'm cutting, I have more chance of not making a mistake. So, or better chance of not making a mistake. So just gonna go in here and slightly angle there. Okay. Just get rid of these little schniblets. So then what we're going to do is we're actually going to take and attach the sides. And we are going to attach the sides this way. This is going to be the back of our box. This is going to be the bottom. This is the front, and this is the flap up here. Not sure if it's all in on the video, but I'll try to make sure I keep this all in frame, or as much in frame as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put some glue on this flap. This is the 1/2 inch flap, and I'm going to make sure that I line up. Actually, I'm going to turn this, because what I want to do is I want to line up so I am just slightly away from the score lines, or score line, but that I'm also lining up the score lines on my pieces to the best that I can. Gosh, I gotta put my glasses on. This is so dark I can't see it all. And it's important to take a little bit of time just to get it even or right, the best that you can. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be perfect because it's handmade, but the best you can. And taking a little bit of time now will save headaches for the future when it's not lined up. So at least that's what I keep saying. Hopefully it's true. That looks pretty good. So then what we're going to do is, my process is that I like to mat this before I put it all together, except for the very inside of the box itself. So what I do normally is take my pieces and I'm going to start out with these here, and we're going to make our way down on our box. Now these are not patterned, I mean they're patterned pieces, but they're not anything that's a majorly continuous pattern. So I'm rounding the corners on this as well with the medium punch. I've seen someone do a rounded punch, and when they have different size punches, you know, like a small, medium, large punch, they said that what they do usually is do a medium punch and then do a small punch for the pattern paper, or, you know, the next size down. You know, I'll tell you, I tried that, and for me, you know what? No, that's not going to work. For me, it just didn't work. I get a much better look or result if I, you know, cut my paper a little bit smaller and use the same rounded edge punch. I always say, how many times can I lift up my paper before it's on there the way I want it? So the paper itself is, each one of these sections are, you know, a specific size because of how we scored it. So this section is 2 inches, this is 2 inches. So each one of these matted pieces, or cardstock, not cardstock, but designer paper, is cut at 1 7/8 by 6 3/8. So 1/8 of an inch smaller than what that section is. Okay. Yep. I'm on camera, so the glue is sticking. It was just working. I don't know for how long. No problems. There we go. Right, and then I just want to take my time and match up to the middle of this section, as well as matching the end of this cardstock with this cardstock, so that we look like we have an even box all the way around. Or an evenly matted box all the way around. So then the next piece that we're going to put in is this bigger section. And I always dry fit before I put a piece down, just to make sure that everything is fitting the way that I think it should be fitting. And I didn't use the other side of this for the main part of the box because it was a directional piece of paper. And quite honestly, if I did more cutting, I would have to cut up more than one piece of the designer paper, and I didn't want to do that. Especially because it's a card box. It's not something that is going to last forever. Okay, so I'm going to go back and get this piece on. And you can see how easy it is with the box apart on how to mat this. Goes really quickly. This is a very, very fast type of gift. You can take time on putting the cards together, or you could do, an idea for a card grouping, as many as cards as you can get out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and try doing that. So that would be a quicker way of getting done 6 cards or 8 cards for your box. So what I'm going to do with this one again is I'm going to add my magnets. And so what I'm going to do is to get oh, okay. I was thinking, I thought I did it wrong. But we'll be fine. So I'm going to take my 2 magnets that I'm going to put down, and so then they'll be covered by that pattern paper. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start and do it up over here. I should have done this here first. And so we're going to get this down. It's just easier for the flap, for making sure that I have it in the right spot for the flap. So that's why I'm going to do the flap side first. So put those 2 in line, press those down, and then I'm going to put my I think these magnets were made to come out of these plastic things. I tell you, I've had more fights with them than anything. Ugh. Alrighty, so we've got our other magnets right here, and I'm going to take the paper off, and we will get that onto the side of our box. I'm gonna laugh again because, of course, when I made those other 2 boxes, no problems with getting this off of the back of a magnet, but I'm on camera. Everything on camera takes longer. So then what I do with this is I take and pull this up. I make sure that I match up this side of the box so that it looks even with the side of my box, and even because I'm leaning on it there. I don't pull it too tight, but I pull it tight enough that it's closing, and then my magnets transfer to the front of my box. So now we've got both our magnets in there, and let's get this piece of paper down. I love these patterns, I want to call them solid patterns, which makes no sense. But kind of like a plaid, or what is this? A houndstooth. That's really what it's, a turquoise houndstooth. And then what I wanted to do is on the side of the box, I'm going to take and put a piece of the other pattern side on the side of the box. And I don't have to worry about doing this because we are not covering the whole inside of the box. So I'm safe to go ahead and cover all these sections before we put everything together. So you'll see that when we're done in just a moment. And I make sure that, because this is directional with the way it's going, and our sides are going to go up, that I am putting this so that my picture is showing the way that if it was standing upright. There we go. And then the last thing that we're going to do is for the interior, for these 2 spots where we're going to cover, we're going to go ahead and let me just make sure I have, yes. This one is a little bit shy of the amount that I needed to cover this whole section. So you're not even going to see that. I just made this a little bit thicker away from my score line, but it'll be just fine as the cover goes in. And then this one is more fitted because of it being in the front. So I'm going to round my corners on this, make sure I'm doing it on the right side and the right way. So we'll get this down. And again, with the art glitter glue that I'm using, or the Barely Art glue, just remember you don't have to use a ton of glue on the back of that. That looks like I'm putting a lot of glue on, but it is not a lot because it's such a fine tip that I have on there, and I'm scratching some of it into the other areas. Because the thing to remember is that a lot of times when you can see marks on your cardstock or your pattern paper, it's because too much glue went onto the cardstock. So what we're going to do next is we are going to put the box together. So I come along and I'm just going to put my glue down on these tabs. And then I'm going to pull the front of the box up, and I'm going to match that up with the edge of my side, making sure too that my side is nice and level with the front of the box as well. And none of my glue is seeping out too much. Reaching in there. Go ahead and do this side. Do the same thing on this side, pull that up. And if you want to, if you feel that you need to, you can use clothespins to hold it longer for the glue to dry. Or you can use tape, the score tape on the tabs. But I am going to go ahead and use my glue. Ooh. I watch some of the crafters that do this when they put glue on tabs or papers, and they make their glue lines so straight. I'm like, how come mine are never that straight? And so I'm going to put this down or up, down, up, line it up like I did with the front, making sure we're right in line. One thing that's really nice about the art glitter glue versus the Barely Art glue, and you know, it just really depends upon where you're using the glue, because I like the Barely Art glue. I do have to say art glitter glue is probably my favorite, and the reason for that is because it catches pretty quickly. So that's where my preference comes in. But this, oh, this is my art glitter glue, but the Barely Art doesn't catch as quickly. So here we go. We've got our box done. We've got it covered, and we have the sides here. I wonder what I did. Did I? This one almost looks like I'm off a little, but I can fix that. So anyways, so that's our mini slimline box done, and you can go ahead and decorate it like you however you'd like to. You can cover the inside if you want to. If you want to even do it with matching cardstock, maybe you have some extra solid cardstock and maybe you want to cover the inside of the box to even make it more sturdy with solid cardstock rather than your pattern papers. So completely up to you, but you can see how this doesn't really show that much, that it's that far back because there's so much black down here. But that's our box. Please leave me comments down below if you have any questions or concerns about this project, and I hope that you take a jaunt over to Country Craft Creations to make a purchase of some of her new collections. They are just gorgeous, and I'll be coming back soon with another project with the Retro Men. So hope to see you then. Take care. Have a good night.